So Bobby, just start off by telling us where we are at the minute, why this seat is so important to you, why this place is so important to you.
Yeah, right now we're in my season ticket seat where I used to come when I was younger and enjoy all the moments at this beautiful stadium.
It's not actually your season ticket seat, is it? You were a little bit further down there. Just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we're a little bit further down, but obviously there's a big bar in front of it, so obviously you can't get the equipment down there. Yeah, a bar what I've banged my head on a few times with my arms from celebrating so much. But yeah, it's all passion.
How many memories do you have from this sort of area of the stadium? What are your main memories and things that you hold dear to you?
Oh, so many, so many. A lot of them were from the goals, you know, and all the atmosphere. Obviously, the singing end used to be just above me, so you can imagine how loud it used to be down here, up here, sorry. I'd say the Sunderland game was probably one of the best memories here, because for the Leeds game I were actually over in the main stand, so I'd say yeah, the Sunderland game were the best memory for me from this seat.
How does it feel coming and sitting down in this area of the stadium again, having been out there and played sort of for the first team, for even the youth team out on the pitch at Valley Parade, coming back to where you used to watch games from? Does it feel a little bit surreal, a bit of a throwback, a bit strange?
Yeah, it does definitely. I haven't been up here since I were in youth team, so I think coming back up here, you know, it brings back your roots and keeps you humble, and yeah, it's great memories. It's great to be back up here and still remembering the view and everything around you. It's good.
First memories go back to the very start of football of Bradford City. What are your kind of early days like? What do you remember being your first kind of exposure to football in general and to Bradford City?
It's a weird one really, because one of my first memories is AFC Wimbledon at home and we beat them 5-0. It's a weird one. It probably wasn't my first game, but yeah, just that game itself, probably because there were loads of goals in it, and obviously it was a successful game. But yeah, that one was a really enjoyable one. Definitely wasn't my first game, but I can't remember my first game. It was that long ago.
What were your feelings going to the early games when you first started coming, and how did it, make you feel? Give you the appetite to want to come back and enjoy coming to this and being a part of it?
I just fell in love with it straight away. As soon as I came as a young kid, I started coming with my uncle. I just fell in love with it literally from the first game. I enjoyed everything about it, the day out, the crowd, the players, just everything about the club. I enjoyed. I remember sometimes when my uncle were working on a Saturday. I used to throw a paddy when we couldn't come. You know, it's so addictive once you start coming and you start getting the love for the club.
Who did you have around you coming to the games, and who first kind of got you into Bradford City, gave you the bug?
I'd say my uncle give me the bug. Definitely. He was coming before me for quite a lot of years. So my dad, and then obviously they started bringing me. So obviously I caught it straight away, like a local boy would, and ever since then I've just been coming ever since.
You come from a family of Bradford City fans. How has that shaped your upbringing? Obviously, coming to the games and being a part of Bradford City, but also shaped your career now that you're out there playing for the first team.
I think it's given me a love for the club, what probably a lot of other people wouldn't have growing up with a family full of City fans. I think from early I've always been set to come here and be a fan, and obviously not be a player, but I've gone and worked hard, and I've finally achieved that. But I think a lot of people can see on the pitch that I am a fan, because I wear my heart on my sleeve really. I go into a game, leave everything on like any fan probably would watching. I used to get the itch when I was a kid. I used to think, bloody hell, if I were on that pitch, I could have done this, I could have done that, and I think every time I'm on it now, I show that.
What were your favourite parts about being a Bradford City fan, and who were your favourite players, things like that? What was your favourite part about coming here on a Saturday afternoon?
I'd say probably 2013 when Nahki Wells were here. I used to love Nahki Wells. He was my favourite player. Like, I used to copy his boots and everything. Boots, even the way he walked, everything about him. Like, I loved Nahki Wells. Goal scorer, wasn't he? So, yeah, I'd say 2013 season was my favourite.
When you were looking up to Nahki Wells, imagine school playground, pretending to be him, all that kind of stuff. Did you ever think for 1 minute that one day, sort of 10 years down the line, you'd be out there, fans would be chanting your name, you'd be the one scoring in front of the Kop?
I think I always thought it, because I think every kid does who comes here and watches. It's always a dream, isn't it? So I think I did definitely think it, but I didn't think it would have actually come true until I started getting a little bit older. So yeah, it's always been the dream, and I'm happy that I've come and achieved it.
You came up through the academy, joined about 7-year-old. How did that happen initially? You get, obviously, kids get scouted playing Sunday League and all that kind of stuff. Just talk to us about your first pathway into the football clubs and academy play.
Yeah, it's a weird one really, because I were actually on just a local field with my granddad, just playing football, just kicking a ball about, and then I think a scout actually walked past walking his dog, and he spoke to my granddad and he was saying, I can play like that, and where does he play and everything, and I were at Shelf Juniors at the time, so I think they put tabs on me there, and a few more scouts came to watch me, and then I gradually got into the academy and just went all the way through.
How much did you enjoy your time, both as an early player, like you say, coming here as the kind of fan of the team that you were now playing for, and then coming through the academy setup, playing at all the different age groups? How has that shaped you maybe a little bit as well?
Yeah, definitely. I think the academy shaped me into a good player, but also a good person as well. That they're big on being humble, which I think for me is probably one of my biggest parts of my game. If anything's going wrong, I don't spit my dummy out. I'll get back on it and work hard for the team. So I think the academy, the main thing they've done for me is kept me humble, and it's all paid off.
The people in the academy as well, the coaches, obviously Neil, who sadly passed away last year, but the likes of Martin, the likes of Ryan Farrell, everybody who's kind of come through the academy and been mentors to you and coaches, how much of it's down to them?
Oh yeah, like a lot. They've made me into such a better player than I would have been if I wasn't at the academy. I think they've shaped me into a good man and a good men's player now. So yeah, I think the academy's done the job really well with me.
When you were coming through the academy, was there a point where you sort of started to realise your dream and think, this could really start getting serious for me and I could make it, I could become a professional player? And if so, when was that, and how was the process of you kind of being able to get into that mindset?
I think when I first ever started training with the first team, I was a first year scholar, and I actually was sat there thinking after the sessions, like, I'm not too far off here. I've obviously got to work in the gym and everything like that, which I went and did. And then last season, I started getting invited up most days. So yeah, I started fitting in with lads and training well every day. So I think that's when I actually genuinely thought to myself, I could go and do it here.
When you're working with them first team players, in terms of your physicality, you've said yourself, you've always been quite a small person, small player. When you talk about how you're hardworking, you're kind of aggressive and you're determined, is part of that come from the fact that potentially you've not always been the biggest player on the team? You've had to work extra on your physicality sometimes in order to compete at the level, and like we see out there now, you're not afraid to get stuck in and mix it with boys who are potentially a foot or whatever taller than you.
Yeah, I think what helps with me a lot is I want it more than the other players out there. There could be a player 6'5", but if there's a ball in between us, I want it a lot more than him, and I know that 100%. So I think that helps a lot with me. Is my hunger and everything, and I think that helps because I'm playing for Bradford City as well. I'm a fan, and I always will be, and I'll always show that on the pitch. And I think my hard working and my ratting, grafting, I think that comes because I'm a fan.
You've broken into the first team properly sort of this season, made a couple of appearances I think in pre-season last year and sort of been in and out kind of thing, but this year's been your breakthrough season. You made your first team debut. How, as a moment, was that to finally, like we say, after all that time in the academy, after all that time as a fan, realise your dream, make your first team debut for Bradford City?
Oh, we're unreal. I think the home debut were the best because obviously I was starting, so I got to walk out and listen to Take Me Home and everyone standing up and everything. And to be honest, I can't even remember it. It just went straight over my head because obviously my head were gone and I was just thinking like this is unreal. This is mental. So I can't actually remember walking out and letting it sink in. I was just thinking like, bloody hell, this is surreal. So I think that were the best moment for me, were walking through that tunnel and listening to Take Me Home and everyone cheering.
What do your family do? Are they still sat here, or do they sit over in the main stand? Were they at the game? Did you remember getting feedback from them and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, they were just up there, up in main stand. My dad used to sit there with me, but now he's up there in like the family area. So he was nearly crying. I think my mum was crying, and my sister. So yeah, you can tell it means everything to my family. So it was a good moment to share with them.
You scored your first senior goal then in October against Swindon down at the other end. How was that as a feeling looking back in terms of your first senior goal? And we saw in the celebration and the emotion after, but how proud did that make you to have done that and accomplished that, and for the rest of your family again?
Yeah, the goal situation was absolutely mental. It never crossed my mind that I were actually going to score.
Just hit your thigh, didn't it?
Yeah, it was just too good to be true. Scoring at Valley Parade and everything like that. So I think as soon as it hit back at net, like I said when I was walking through the tunnel, my head just went, and I just, all the adrenaline took me in front of away end, on my knees and shushing them.
One actually first goal at Valley Parade. You scored two, I think, a couple of seasons before when you were still in the youth team against Doncaster and against Oldham. How were they as experiences as well, while you were kind of still in the academy and looking to break into the first team, but to have scored then at Valley Parade and again on your pathway to sort of realising your dream, that must have been quite big for you.
Yeah, definitely. The Oldham game was my first time ever playing at Valley Parade. I've obviously been here since I've been 7 year old, and I've never played at the stadium. And sooner I'll become 18 and I get to play here. So I think to score in that game were also special, and it's just given me a taster, which made me want it even more than I did before that. So yeah, it's a good it were a good experience, and I'm glad it made me more hungry to come and actually achieve what I've achieved.
That season in itself was a real success as well for you personally, for the academy and for the club as a whole. First EFL Youth Alliance League title for 10 years or something like that. You obviously won the Academy Player of the Year at the end of the season too, and then pro contract signed that not long after as well. In terms of that couple of months period there where everything seemed to happen, again, how good was that for you? Looking back now, how much did that shape you, and how much, again, was that a period where you thought, right, this is really now my opportunity to kick on and show what I've got?
Yeah, that were a really good season, really successful, and I think that helps with obviously the pro contract and everything like that. And I'm obviously sat there thinking I need to push on now and keep working hard, and hopefully it's coming closer and closer. And I've just got to keep staying patient, keep showing the gaffer what I'm capable of, and then luckily I got my chance.
Up to pretty much present day, you got your second senior goal on Good Friday in front of the Cop here against Tranmere. Is that one of the best moments of your career? One of the best goals you've ever scored at any level, would you say?
Yeah, that's my best moment of my career so far. Like from being a kid to now, best ever. To score in front of the Cop is special, but to score it like that is even better. Flying in top. As soon as I seen it flying in top corner, like I just started running off straight in front of all my fans, and it were a brilliant feeling. Like I said, the exact same feeling of walking out of that tunnel. My head went.
And like you said, to do it in front of the Cop with all the fans behind the Cop chanting your name, you've got a famous chant, obviously, that goes a little bit about something being one of our own.
Yeah.
To hear that in the flesh, and after you've just scored a goal like that and get all the adulation from the fans, that must have been really special for you and for your family as well, I would imagine.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I know they were all singing it up there. So yeah, I think my song itself is special because it's actually got a meaning behind it. They appreciate that I've been a fan all my life, and I think they know themselves how much I love the club and everything like that. So yeah, the chant's really special, and moments like that you can't beat.
Remember you said at the time of the Swindon goals that was standout memory, standout moment for you. How does Tranmere compare? Is that tipped it, do you think?
Yeah, it's definitely tipped it. Obviously, like a lot of people say, you can't tip your first goal, but I think that goal in front of the Cop were special to me. Everyone wants to score in front of the Cop. If you're a fan. So yeah, I finally done it, and I think I did it in style.
We've spoken about the fans, as with any homegrown player who's representing the club. There's always a bit more passion from their side, a bit more love feeling that, and like we say, you've got your own chant and all that kind of thing. In general, how was that for you? How does that feel? Again, is it a little bit maybe surreal to feel all that love and to help it fuel what you do on the pitch? That must be huge.
Yeah, the fans help me loads. I don't think they realise how much they actually help me. You know, I know they're all on my side and they're backing me, and I think that gives me freedom on pitch. I have a lot of freedom in my play, as they probably know, and that's just because I know they trust me, and I know they trust that I'll give it my all if I lose it, or if the team loses the ball. You know, my reaction will be good. I think the fans know that I'm going to give it my all, and that's why they back me, to be honest, and it helps on the pitch loads because I can play with freedom and not worry about making mistakes.
How important is that support in general? Because you've got the context, I guess, over anybody else really in the first team at the minute of having been in these stands for, like you say, the Sunderland game, Reading game, Arsenal, all that kind of stuff, where the fans really were a 12th man. This place was full and helped us secure some really big results. And even in the years following that and right up to the present day, it must really help you boys on the pitch when you've got that behind you and all the fans packing out these stands and singing loud and clear and getting right behind you.
Yeah, definitely. The fans give you such a good buzz when you know, when they're off the seat and they're chanting and they're cheering. For example, when we get corners and everything. I remember in the Grimsby game, my first game here, when we went on like a 10-minute spell, and you know the fans were off the seats and they were singing everything, and we kept getting corners and they were cheering, and I was just stood there thinking, like, we're gonna win here, we're gonna go score. You know, they don't realise how much they actually help the team, and you know, give them that buzz, which probably leads to good results.
That Grimsby example there, did that feel a little bit surreal as well in itself, where if you go back 10 years ago, it would have been you as part of that in the stands, helping cheer the team on and getting right behind them and shouting your loudest and all that, and now you're on the pitch feeling that. Does it feel a little bit weird, and does it kind of, again, make you understand it a little bit more, having been on both sides of that fence?
Yeah, I understand the passion of all the fans. I think that's a good thing for me. That I understand everyone's passion. I'm used to hearing it from the stands, and I'm thinking, like, this is loud, but it's even louder when you're on the pitch. You know, you can hear it, you can let it all sink in, and it gets you up for games, and it makes you play a lot better. Like, when I were in the stand, I probably didn't realise how much it helped, but when you're actually on the pitch and you know yourself, it helps a lot.
How important is that going to be now going forward into next year and in years ahead, where we're trying to build a successful team and be a part of something special? You're obviously still young and you've got your whole career ahead of you. I would imagine you'd like to taste a little bit of success here at Bradford City for your hometown club. How important are the fans in trying to make that happen and being with us every step of the way?
Yeah. It's going to mean a lot next season. You know, getting the fans on our side. You know, being positive. You know, just literally like the Grimsby game. You know, we have 10-minute spells where we go get on top. You know, and then when the fans are on top as well, it makes us play even better. So I think next season, if we get a good start and you know we fill this out and the fans get on top of us, get on top of the other team as well, you know, we could have a really successful season.